This is the Ring of Honor, a.k.a. Shane T, boy, the baddest champion you ever seen, boy.
This is Mr. Anderson.
This is good old JR Jim Ross, and you are listening.
You're listening to Knockouts and 3 Counts.
Cover! We got a new world champion!
That might be one of the craziest knockouts I've ever seen in my life.
Knockouts and 3 Counts is the podcast, baby! It's the real deal, baby!
Knockouts and 3 Counts starts now.
Woo! What up, though? This is Knockouts and 3 Counts, and it may be a dry week in the world of pro wrestling and MMA, and Corey has killed himself, and we are only 15 seconds in. Corey has hit the same drive-through that I went through last night, and we're going to talk all about drive-through mishaps, along with, you know, Bo Nickel seems to be the talk of the town in the UFC right now. He's already got his next fight booked. You know, we got all the stuff with Chris Jericho being the ROH champion and who we might see have to come back and defend the honor of Ring of Honor. See what I did there? And today also is the 1-year anniversary of the Little Tank. So happy birthday, Little Tank. That being said, hell yeah. Happy birthday, Little Tank. What up, though, Donald? You know, Donald, I know you work at Pizza Hut, bro. So I know you probably got some gnarly stories. So I don't know, boys. Where should we start first? Should we start pro wrestling? Should we start combat stories, or should we just knock this motherfucker off the rails, off the ramp with drive-through story?
I really want you to tell the world of the drive-through story. So can we just start there, please? Let's
lead the dance.
Let's break the ice with one of the greatest drive-through stories of all time. And I just want to know it was like I was there because I was on the phone. It was like I was there. Okay, go ahead. Proceed.
No, okay, so first of all, I just want you guys to know, like, this was like fresh off of like we got some good business coming. Stay tuned. You know, there might be, you know, some new faces and products to the show and all those kind of things coming soon to Knockouts and 3 Counts. So, you know, I'm coming off of doing some biznatch and, you know, doing the thing. And then I go to pick me up some food. I get me a little cheeseburger action, get me some chicken nuggets. And when I went to open the box and said chicken nuggets, I got a whole box of fucking mac sauce. How did I asked for 2 4-piece chicken nuggets and some barbecue sauce along with my motherfucking burger. And not only did I only get 4 chicken nuggets in the other chicken nugget box, I got a 6-piece chicken nugget box filled up with mac sauce. So I stuck my whole ass hand into some mac sauce. And I pulled over and I'm like, what the fuck? I opened the box. How do I have sauce all over my hands? Pull over to the side and go, no way. Mind you, J-Bone is on FaceTime with me and seeing all this shit. Oh my God. I was like, what the fuck? So I had to circle back around. What up, though, Cody? Hey, so, Cody, I got some really cool news about Five Finger Death Punch. We're going to talk about Five Finger Death Punch and their concert next week. I'm looking forward to being up in this bitch. What up, though, Chris? And like I said, I did the circle back around to the drive-thru, just pulled right up to the window, and I handed her the box. She like, started to, like, get pissed and, like, what? And then she opens the box and just takes off, like, bolts back to, like, go grab these chicken nuggets.
It was something you did. Like, it's your fault.
Dude, and then what's even funnier is, so I post a picture of the shit, and it gets a lot of reactions on Facebook and Twitter and all that shit. McDonald's responds to it on Twitter, and I didn't even tag him. So, I don't know.
The complaint thing or whatever is what happens now? You get like a
I don't know what we're gonna get out of this, dude, but
we want nuggets.
I mean, that's all I was.
The fact 3 Counts needs an endless supply of chicken nuggets, baby. Let's go.
The fact that somebody that works either at or for McDonald's is just checking like random, like they're basically just like hashtag McDonald's in the fucking Twitter search bar, right?
Complaint
like,
department.
Yeah, like what random things are people saying about McDonald's right now? And then fucking they scroll across your
Cody, very possibly.
I mean, a whole box of mac sauce is absolutely ridiculous, right? Like I've had some bad experiences with fast food. I'm sure we all have, right? Like probably my number one was I went to go get nothing but Happy Meals for my daughters because, you know, kids and McDonald's, that's their favorite thing in the world. I show up back home after checking the box to make sure that the right amount of food was in there. Get home to open the hamburger that we got for my oldest daughter, and it was just 2 buns. They didn't put a burger. They didn't put ketchup, mustard, pickle, it was just 2 buns. And so same deal. And it's like 8 o'clock at night at this point. So we ended up having to make her something at home. We didn't even, go about it the proper way of like going back up there and stuff. But it was just, I mean, we've all had some terrible experiences, and I don't know which McDonald's we are in question about. If it's the one right
by your house.
Yeah, they're the worst. They're the absolute worst. I've never dealt with a worse McDonald's in my whole life. I swear. What's crazy, right? Is you'll wait 20 minutes if there's 5
Dude, but I didn't even wait long. Like there was only a couple of people in the line. We got her all the way around there. Like I got my food thinking, okay, shit, we're good. Like again, you were with me. We just finished a business meeting, and then I'm trying to drive away and eat a chicken nugget on the way home, get me a little snack, and I didn't get a snack. I got shit all over my car. What the fuck?
Did you tell McDonald's corporate that they owe you a car detailing?
I don't know what we're gonna get out of it, but it was an interesting one.
Listen, we all got kids and nephews and stuff. They eat a lot of chicken nuggets. We want lifetime supplies of chicken. I want a coupon. I want a golden coupon that says, "Hey,
knockouts and 3 counts, golden ticket,
golden ticket, knockouts and 3 counts." I want a little embroidery or like a good etch on there, and I want it to say "endless supply of chicken nuggets" because you guys have traumatized Kyle. So that's what it is.
Traumatized. I didn't even use that word, but traumatized. Damn it.
Yeah, you got to use those big words so they so they get it.
Sophisticated words. Well, before we get off the story of drive-thrus, you got any drive-thru stories, J-Bone?
Dude, all right. We're going to get a little personal here because if you know me personally, I have a very, very unique disgust with ketchup, okay? I hate ketchup, dude. Like, I've quit jobs because as a dishwasher, okay? Quick side story. Quick side story, right? Quick side story. One time I worked at this restaurant in Little Coney Island, and a plate came back, and it was nothing but fucking ketchup. Like somebody just dipped a plate of ketchup. I'm like, yeah, I'm not touching that. I quit. Sorry. Whatever. Anyway, high school, bro. I'm on my way home from school. I decided to stop at McDonald's. I get the old McDouble or whatever the fuck it was at the time. I take that bitch out because I got to be somewhere. I bite into it, and there's no patty. There's no cheese. It's just loaded with ketchup. I can't stress to you how that fucked up my day, and I don't think I've ever been the same since. So it is what it is. I don't like.
So you're saying what I need to get you for your birthday is a big old bottle of Heinz 57.
I'll kill you.
Okay.
Come on, bitch. Bring it. On next week's episode of Knockouts and 3 Counts, we're going to fight over fucking ketchup.
Hey, here's another good story, though. One of my friends, he thought it was so funny, in fact, that he put open ketchup packets underneath my windshield wipers one time. So it became like this huge joke. It was great. So I hit my wipers, and this ketchup just smears all over.
And you thought the brood were coming out.
Yeah. It wasn't a great time in my life. I don't like to talk about it, but I love everybody.
Hey, don't feel bad. My fucking dumbass friends took lamb out of my mom's fucking car and shoved it under my fucking seat and about made me throw up. So yeah. Friends can be real asshole pieces of shit. I bet you did forget about it, asshole.
Well, it wasn't me. To clarify, it wasn't.
You had something to do with
I know who did it. Yeah, I know who did it. But enough about stories because
was it
motherfucker.
Just to clarify,
it was Ben Hulai. If you see this, Ben, I remember it was you. Fuck you.
Yeah.
We can fight for the belt behind me. But with that being said,
oh god,
we've talked about the people that we want to fight because of the drive-through. We've talked about that it is the 1-year anniversary of Little Tank. But let's talk about the world of pro wrestling, dude. J-Bone, who the fuck is the White Rabbit? Yeah, Chase. Fuck you, Ben.
What up, Uncle Chase? It's Uncle Chase. He's the White Rabbit.
Yeah,
Uncle Chase, you're the White Rabbit.
I knew it. I knew it all along. His bunny
costume. Did you see the timing? Like right when it got brought up.
I know, dude. Something not right here.
Uncanny.
Hey, speaking of Uncle Chase, though, he did comment on my Facebook status today. He's going to be at Cheapy Creepy, so I'll see you guys there with Uncle Chase as well. That's going to be a great time. The White Rabbit, though, Kyle. I think we both know.
God damn, you're getting metal shavings in your chicken. And piss jug, we could have got you a whole piss jug full of mac sauce, bro.
That's a whole story for another show, blowing up toilets and all that. But Kyle, I think me and you both know, man. Like this has got to be Bray Wyatt, and if it's not, they better make it be because
they better make it be.
Dude,
if it ain't, you better get on the phone and call that motherfucker. Dude, like yesterday.
You better, because the IWC, as they call it, is going to have a field day with WWE if it's not Bray Wyatt, dude. Because
do you think he's going to show up at Extreme Rules though?
No, I don't think so. I think with the way that this is grabbing the social media world, I think you could drag this out to Survivor Series maybe.
Really, you think they would? Wow, yeah. You really think they're going that long with it?
Yeah, I mean, look at the buzz right now. Look at the buzz. Yeah. You type in anything on Twitter. White Rabbit is. I mean, this thing is making record stores and Latitude.
Fucking piss chug, dude.
And it's actually kind of amazing because they really haven't even mentioned it on TV. The QR codes are just popping up, and they're actually relying on the wrestling fans to dive into it, and we are.
I like that there's so many like nooks and crannies and shit that this can go. Like if you pay attention to this stuff, I would have
on a rabbit hunt, literally. You know what I mean? So
a white rabbit hunt.
The fact that they're drawing in the wrestling community, I think it's great. It's genius, dude. It's genius marketing. It's all the above. So God, if it's not Bray Wyatt, like I said, you better make it be him. Because and like they haven't even spoke on TV about what's happening during the commercial breaks with the White Rabbit song. Like that's not even been spoken of, and it's huge in the IWC world right now. Like that's all that's being talked about on wrestling Twitter is the White Rabbit and speculations and all that. So
it hasn't even been addressed by the announcing team or anything like that.
Just QR codes popping up. They did talk about it on. They did talk about it on the bump yesterday, but like I said, they still haven't mentioned. They just mentioned the QR codes and the vignettes that it leads to. But correct me if I'm wrong, Kyle. Those vignettes haven't been actually shown on WWE TV, right? It's just the QR codes. Like,
I don't think we've seen any of the vignettes on TV yet. I think it's just been the QR code.
Okay, so they're really relying on us to quote unquote go down the rabbit hole, and it's working, dude. It's really working.
I see what you did there.
You like that?
Yeah.
I got
doing some good play on words with the.
I got some.
Hit him with that word play. I think it's got to be. I think it's got to be Bray too. But with that being said, what version of Bray do you want to see? Like the last time we saw Bray, we saw the Fiend. Do you want to see something more towards like when the Wyatt family was around, or do you want to see like? Do you want to see the Fiend, or do you want to see it be somewhere like a? See, me personally, I think it would be cool if we saw like some kind of like a cross, like a cross in the middle. You know what I mean? Where it's like something like the old Bray Wyatt, but yet the Fiend is always kind of like the Fiend is always kind of lurking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fucking Donald Husky Harris. We want him to. He wants to come back
because because like the original Bray Wyatt character was more the culty, like follow the buzzards, follow me cult type figure, and then you got the Fiend kind of just lurking in there. Like I mean, you got the Firefly Funhouse, right? You could literally take the NXT version of Bray Wyatt, replace that into the Firefly Funhouse, and then have the Fiend like he was. So the Fiend's kind of like this ominous figure, which is kind of what's going on now. And while playing these vignettes and the music in the arena with the red lights, man, it's like he's there without even being there. Like you remember him, you know what I mean? So he's kind of like lurking in the shadows type thing. Like even the Empty Arena, song that we originally seen, it's like he's there when you're not even there. You know what I mean? It's kind of creepy. It's actually really fucking creepy, but it's awesome. I'm all in. I'm invested on it. I can't wait till something happens, because when he shows his face or he comes out, dude, the place is gonna go nuts.
Is there anybody else you could see it being other than Bray Wyatt?
Gilbert. No, I'm kidding. No, man.
Gilbert finally gets his break 30 fucking years later. Hot damn it.
No, I don't, because like I said, at this point, what if it's not? Like, if it's not, you're gonna have a lot of ruffled feathers, dude. Like, it's not gonna be. This is the time to take that Fiend character, and I think me and you can both agree, Kyle. The Fiend, like the thing with Seth Rollins, it's kind of shitty. That all went down.
Well, and they both publicly said that they want, they want to revisit that. I think, like I said, for me, like I think it's Bray too. But I also think that, like, for me, I'd like to see it where like the Fiend is like the horror movie character where the guy's like torn on the inside, you know what I mean? And like the Fiend is like the same, like how Finn has the demon thing, you know what I mean? Where he's not the Fiend all the time, but when he gets pushed past the certain point, you know what I mean? Then you see that. Then you pushed him to that. Then I feel like by doing that, you bring so many different ways for it to do it. And to me, that just like brings for more storytelling. Plus, I mean, let's not forget, you still got the thing with Alexa Bliss, which she basically, she's still carrying around the damn doll.
Yeah.
So there's loose ends that I feel like that need to be tied up first, or at least at some point, or I would like for them to be tied up. But that's just me. I mean, so that's kind of where I would like to see it go.
That promo that she did with Bailey, do you think what she said in that promo had anything to do with the whole Alice in Wonderland thing tying into this in any way? Did you catch that? I didn't catch it. Somebody posted on Twitter and I was like, oh, wow.
Refresh my memory.
So in her promo, when she was going at it with Bailey, she said, you're walking around here like you're 10 feet tall. And then the whole 10 feet tall thing with Alice in Wonderland, the feed your head, it all kind of ties in.
But see, that's what I'm talking about. The little cookies and crumbs and shit. That's the shit that makes you want to watch wrestling. That's the shit that makes you want to tune in next week and be like, okay, I don't know what this shit's going to be. I don't know. Maybe they're going to go do that. And you know what else I don't know what's going to be? Appreciate all of you guys that are tuning in right now. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're new here. We've had quite the run here on the show with Cara Rowe after her big return into the ring. We've been knocking them out. We had both of your female BKFC champs and Britain Hart and Christine Faria on here as well. And Darren McCarty joined us again with the Dread King. Atticus Kogar coming through. Like I said, you never know who's going to be on the other end of that box. And your boy is going to be back on that commentary table with our homie Kenny Cross come November 12th in Dearborn Heights. So if you want to come see some fights, past guest of the show, Austin Bashy, will be in the main event. So make sure you're in the building. I agree, dude. But like I said, to put a bow on that one, like it's the fact that we're talking about it and are genuinely like, shit, I don't know what they're going to do. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's oh shit. Piss jugs. It's like he's reading. It's like he saw the backstage chat.
Brother, I wish I could turn my camera. I'm watching it right now, dude. It's pretty horrible. Hopefully he's okay, man. That dude's he's gonna miss some significant time, that's for sure. So
that's
very
unfortunate.
Very bad injury.
Because I was genuinely, not to spin ball off into NFL real quick, but I was genuinely surprised with what he was able to do with these Dolphins. I know he's got a solid defense down there, and bringing Tyreek Hill and stuff in definitely has seemed to help and stuff on their offensive side. But he's looked well in all 3 of their victories so far, and I mean he was playing decent other than that massively underthrown interception earlier, but other than that he was playing pretty decently. So
yeah, man,
it's always unfortunate when you see a potential star quarterback go down, and especially if you're saying potential season ender. That's
dude,
never
it was a pretty nasty concussion. It looks like it's going to be a very, very bad concussion. Like I said, he was out, dude, hands curled up and everything. It's pretty graphic.
Yeah, that's bad.
They got old reliable in there, backup Teddy Bridgewater. So we'll see what happens.
Hey, Bridgewater's beast.
Thoughts and prayers out to him. Hopefully he is going to be all good and okay with all that good stuff. But with that being said, we also had AEW Dynamite, bro. So, J-Bone, what are your thoughts on what we saw last night, dude? I mean, you had Bandito versus Jericho, which is a banger, I thought. I don't know if Bandito got a broken nose, but he was bleeding straight through that white mask. And this is all fresh off of, Jordan Garcia and Jericho having it out and challenging them to a tag match with Danielson and Garcia versus Jericho and Sammy Guevara. So what are your thoughts on what we saw last night from the world of AEW?
Dude, well, you already know me, man. Anything Jericho touches turns to gold. Like I said, he's the GOAT. That's the GOAT of wrestling right there. But the fact that he gets to shine with Bandito, dude, that match was a banger, like you said. And now that he's holding that Ring of Honor title, man, I think it opens it. You wouldn't think it would, but it opens even more doors for Chris Jericho to have significant matches with better talent. You know what I mean? So, Piss Jug, I'm with it, dude. Let's do it, man. Lions games. I'm down.
You talk about get-togethers. J-Bone, we could maybe have some things in store for all of our listeners who used to come to our pay-per-view parties and things like that. Mm-hmm. Stay tuned. We could have something good for you.
Yeah. But yeah, back to my point, though. I think it's great that we still, after all these years, and you never think about it, but you could still do more with Chris Jericho. Think of the matches that he could have with guys from Ring of Honor. Think of what that could do for the Ring of Honor product, throwing Jericho over there in the mix. You know what I mean? It's just, it's the GOAT, dude. You know what I mean? So
damn.
I kind of agree with that as well, though. Tony Khan is definitely off the tracks, dude. The things that I've seen. I mean, you've seen the media scrum and how it all went down, Kyle. I know you're hip to it all, man. The before and after pictures from day one of AEW to now, it's like, bro, you need to slow down or something. I don't know, but we're still getting good matches though, which is good.
Hey man, I'm not complaining because the backstage stuff for sure. They got to get that shit under control. But at the end of the day, I'll say the same thing that I said after the media scrum. Obviously we know what's going on because it was all made public. But at the same time, dude, I feel like that ain't my fucking that ain't my damn business. Yeah. You know what I mean?
It comes down to the proper PR, dude. Who's handling what's being seen, and Tony Khan clearly shouldn't be the guy to do that. So,
I mean, you say that, but we also know he's been the one that's put together a lot of the stuff that we've been loving to see here. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out because I'm not going to lie, I like the whole, torn back and forth between Garcia and Jericho, and I like like you said, I like the idea of Jericho having the Ring of Honor title because even though Jericho is literally the exact opposite at this point, with him claiming he's the sports entertainer and all that to what Ring of Honor was built upon, when you really look at it at its core, Jericho came up through Canada, Mexico, Germany, the US, Japan, has wrestled everywhere. So when you talk about somebody that can do all that stuff, granted at this point in his career, is he more of a sports entertainer type dude? Sure. But to say that he's not worthy of the Ring of Honor championship, sure. But then again, that's the other point I wanted to bring up. You know, after he won his match against Bandito, which quick sidebar on Bandito, you know, for any of you guys that got to check out our shows with the Circle 6 boys, you know, Bandito was here in Detroit, and dude, if AEW is smart, I would be signing that son of a bitch, because that match between him and Jericho was dope. I've seen Bandito kill it in Ring of Honor. I've seen it in Circle 6. I've seen it multiple places, dude. I think Bandito should be signed somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, are we still, so Kyle, you would know, are we still getting like or are we gonna get like maybe a separate show for Ring of Honor? Are we gonna get a significant
Oh
night?
yeah, for sure. You have to, dude. Like it has to be its own. It has to be its own show.
You can't come out and make the big old announcement and everything that you did. And, you know, we publicly purchased the rights to not only the category, but everything in the future that is Ring of Honor. And then to just kind of, I'm honestly surprised they've sat on it for this long and that nothing's kind of came of it to this point. Yeah. You know, like to your point, you know, they have the Ring of Honor title, but that's not not Ring of Honor. Yeah, that's not of Ring of Honor. It's the Ring of Honor title of AEW at this point. And if that's what it's going to boil down to, then like, what was the hoopla about? I guess you could say. You know, what was the big deal about if you're just gonna, if it's just another TBS and TNT belt essentially, like, and you just spun it off into, well, this one's a little more historic because it's got the Ring of Honor name titled to it. It doesn't, you know, it doesn't add any weight to it. You know what I mean?
I think we just need to get to a point where we could kind of split the brands and have significance between Ring of Honor. You know, and Bandito would be the perfect guy to carry that into.
Oh, definitely.
Show,
and or, even if you didn't do a full split, right? Even if you just did it where it's like, we have our core group of guys, but you're going to see transitions between the two brands because they are both affiliated, and it's not like the WWE roster style where,
well, even WWE is not even fully split, and personally I like it better when it's not fully split. Like, honestly,
and that's what I'm saying is, like, have that ebb and flow where it's like, if you want to have an interesting match or an interesting feud between, like, they really love doing the alliances and stuff like that, or the groups of guys where it's, you know, 3-on-3 and stuff like that. You could do like the top three from this side, top three versus this side and stuff like that. Like, you could definitely intermingle and doing it in an interesting way. But I agree, if you're going to kind of add a more interesting spin to what AEW's currently got going on, I feel like that would be a good way to at least add some change in direction a little bit.
Yeah. I agree.
I agree with that, dude. I think eventually we're going to see another show and things like that. And I think that's why, like I said, I like what they're setting up with Jordan Garcia, with him being the peer champion and Jericho being the ROH champion, because ultimately, dude, like, he's a really good representative for that too. I think they got to find another home for that. I mean, my idea would be, you know, we have Rampage on Fridays, you know, instead of it being Rampage, you know, I could eventually see that being Ring of Honor.
Yeah,
but then again, you run into the problem though. Is TNT going to want a Ring of Honor show, or are they going to want an AEW show? So it all kind of depends on how it all plays out. But I think,
but not to jump, because I know you're about to transition points, but you could do it as an AEW presents Ring of Honor, and then it would be its own, it would still be under the banner.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, that's how I kind of see it. Like, I think if you did that in place of what you have on Rampage, you know, and gave them like a 2-hour slot there, I think that would work. That would work perfectly. But again,
let's not turn it into an ECW type gig when WWE had their grass.
Well, I don't think we're in fear of that, but I mean, with that being said, you know, who do you think would be, you know, we heard Jericho say, you know, any of the former Ring of Honor champions, who do you think's going to come in to you know, come answer that challenge? Or do you think it's going to be somebody from within the company? You know, you got Samoa Joe, you got Hangman, you got CM Punk, you got Danielson, you know, or again, somebody that we don't know who it could be.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm a Samoa Joe mark, dude. So I'd rather see Samoa Joe, but it's probably going to be somebody like Danielson for now, at least. You know what I mean? Because you already got the story implanted there, and he would be representing.
And they are at one apiece, man.
Yeah. So, but me personally, I'd love it to be Joe, dude. Just go in there and smash. Let's go.
Just be a double champ, Joe. Be champ, Joe.
I'd love it, dude. Love
I mean, I wouldn't be mad at that. The other thing I want to get to, so we haven't heard anything from Soraya, formerly known as Paige, in a long time. We saw her get in the ring, and she had some things to say about the state of the AEW women's division. What do you think of what we saw from Soraya, bro?
The promo, I don't know, man. That was flat for me, to be honest. But at the same time, I didn't expect a lot from her. She's been off for so long and gone. It's kind of like, I feel like we're still bringing in the whole like, hey, I was WWE aspect to it. You know what I mean? Because she mentioned, I'm damaged, not broken. Like, all right, we know about your issues and your injury stuff in WWE.
Damn, Cody's weighing in too, man.
I guess that I was trying to be nice about it, but yeah, I agree with him. It was just really bad.
Well, my thing is, it didn't really seem like it had a direction, right? Because she didn't say that she wasn't going to get in the ring. Donald too was awful. She didn't say she was going to get in the ring. It kind of almost seemed as though she said that she was going to be like almost maybe hinting at like a general manager thing or like a head of the women's division type thing, which, I mean, at this point, especially with her saying that she's healed up and stuff, I think everybody wants to see her in the ring, but ultimately everybody wants to see her healthy. We didn't really get a definitive answer one way or the other, but like I said, it kind of seemed all over the place. I kind of hoping.
I feel like we already did the Women's Revolution thing, right? Like, and I feel like that's what we got there. Like Women's Revolution, like we already did it. The women are here, and there's a lot more flag bearers in AEW. If we're gonna be carrying the torch and carrying the flag for women, sorry, but it ain't her. It's not her, dude. You know what I mean? So
I'm not gonna lie though, dude. I'm not gonna lie though, dude. When she said that she showed up and said that she's coming back to AEW, like, I mean, if we see her back in the ring and have like an integral part with AEW, I think Soraya instantly raises their women's division up. Now we got to kind of see what they're gonna do with it, but like I said, I agree with what Cody said. I definitely think we need to see more of a direction with it, like I said, because it just kind of seemed all over the place.
Yeah.
But with that being said, we've talked about drive-throughs, we've talked about drive-throughs, we've talked about AEW, we've talked about AEW lost point of what made them good. Young women, unknown, underutilized talent this episode.
Brother.
Oh God. I mean, you're not. I mean, like I say, I mean, every week can't be Christmas, but it definitely, like I said, I want to see more direction from it because all that just, I don't know. It wasn't my favorite episode. There were things I liked, but I mean, with everything that we've been saying for WWE for years at this point, before Triple H is coming back, I feel like we can afford AEW 1 week of kind of hit or miss. But before we get off AEW, I want to know what your thoughts are on Wheeler Yuta and MJF, because the last few weeks, Wheeler Yuta has really kind of been, out in the forefront, and to have him out there kind of going toe-to-toe with MJF, I mean, you can't really get anybody hotter in AEW right now than MJF, and you got Yuta going toe-to-toe with him. And I liked how MJF alluded to how many times they fought on the indies before they got to AEW.
Yeah, that's a good callback to it all. But yeah, man, like I feel like, so this is probably going to carry MJF into the title hunt. We're going to see where it goes, but like, all in all, this is going to give him a good opportunity to have some good wrestling matches. You know what I mean? Because I feel like we're so like high on MJF and his mic skills that like all we expect from him is like, what are you going to say? What are you going to do this week? You know what I mean? But we're going to get good wrestling out of Wheeler Yuta and MJF, dude. That's going to be good shit. So I'm excited for that. Wheeler Yuta's a stud, dude. You know what I mean? And that, he's another one of those guys. It's like you can't really find enough for him. You know what I mean on the main shows because he's like I don't want to say he's a buried talent. He's not buried by any means, but like that's a dude that you want on TV every week because he's that good. So putting him with one of your top guys, dude, it's only gonna make him shine more. So and they got a history, so I'm invested in it. It's gonna be good.
I mean,
I agree.
You say he's not necessarily buried talent, but I've definitely not heard his name brought up a ton on the show throughout the years of covering AEW at this point. So
well, he's still a younger talent. I mean, he's not like one of the older guys, but he's a guy that's really kind of stepped out since they put him with the Blackpool Combat Club.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Didn't he go do the Super Juniors too, Kyle? Didn't he do the Super Juniors tournament or something?
And he was big in Ring of. He did a lot in the Ring of Honor Pure division and stuff. Like that's why, like having him when he was Ring of Honor Pure champ and stuff like that. I mean, he's
one of those utility guys that you could literally just put anywhere, and he's gonna look good. He's gonna be great, man. So it's good for him to get the rub, quote unquote rub with MJF. I think so.
And I mean, from the promo, I mean, when he hit that Philly line, dude, that crowd went nuts. And when he showed up in the box and knocked MJF down the stairs, they were going pretty nuts. So I don't know, man. Like I said, all in all, I think it was a good night for Yuta. I'm not mad at seeing him in there with MJF. I think if they're putting him with MJF's the hottest thing in there. I don't know how I see this whole chip thing playing out yet. But we'll have to see. I wonder, like, does that just mean you get a match when like when you want it to be? Because I as far as I know, I think you just get
not
a
like
match.
a Money in the Bank thing, right? It's not like
not that I know of. I don't know. They haven't ever really clearly defined that. I don't know if it's like you can just come out at the end of a match or like when a match is over and say I want a match right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think they've clarified actually. So
yeah, dude. I say
Donald's an encyclopedia of fucking independent wrestling.
I know.
Dude, he's like the Indian encyclopedia, dude.
I love it, dude. You need people like Donald.
I mean, for all the people that hate on Donald for being very vocal with his support of fans, we here at Knockouts and 3 Counts greatly appreciate that. Also, while I'm thinking about it, shout out to Kathy and all of our friends in Florida. Hopefully you guys are safe with Hurricane Ian and all that stuff. Hopefully y'all are safe over there. All right. Well, we've talked about most everything that there was to talk about as far as wrestling goes. Although, wait a minute. The Juice Robinson thing. Juice Robinson and Moxley had quite the match on AEW Dynamite. What do you think about Juice Robinson briefly before we get off wrestling? Because, dude, I just got done watching the New Japan Capital Collision pay-per-view that they had on YouTube. They had it on there for free from Washington a couple days ago. And I just watched a 4-way for the U.S. Championship that he just won between him, Moxley, Tanahashi, and Will Ospreay. And son of a bitch. If you didn't watch that, go out of your way to do so. But I am liking what we see from Juice Robinson's. Definitely a little too sweet since he's went to the Bullet Club, if you know what I did there. But shout out to our guy Shogun. He just got done fighting the Bullet Club. But what'd you think about Juice Robinson, bro?
No, I dig that. Anything like I really like the whole New Japan, like bringing over guys, the guys that spend time in New Japan. You know what I mean? Especially like with a history with him and Mox in the 4-way, like you said, the 4-way. But I think it just speaks volumes to their work, man, because like you're putting them, you literally put him in a main event spot with your champion. Like that's a lot of pressure. You're leaning on him for a lot of things. The fact that he delivered speaks volumes to his work, man. So good for him. Good. Like I said, I use the word rub a lot in today's episode, but good for him getting the rub.
He wants to give you the rub.
Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with the rub. Rub's good in all aspects of life, right? Rub,
Hey, I got a massage today. It was A1.
Chicken rub. I'm talking about food, guys. Chill.
Yeah,
I got a massage today. I'm talking about a rub. It was pretty good.
Damn, that's what I need to do. I'm just too much of a
must be after 10 o'clock, huh? Knockouts and 3 Counts after dark.
No.
Are we making the transition to the combat end of sports? Because I want to ask you guys a question if we are.
Whatever you guys
go for it. Bruce, if you're still in here, we are going to get to your point about Islam and do Bronx.
Since we're making that transition, I don't know what said point was, but we'll get to that here in a moment. But what's your guys' most anticipated combat sports card this weekend? Because as much as I'm a diehard with all the events and stuff, they're all fairly light. I would say, honestly, the Bellator
Bellator is the best one out of all of them. But I mean, I will say, though, after I looked at the main event and co-main event for BKFC, I'm looking forward to that, too.
Yeah, I feel like UFC's got some solid fights on the undercard, right? Like the fact that the Brendan Allen and Jotko fight is on the prelims is just like that makes no sense to me. That should be upper, at least on the upper echelon of especially a lighter stacked card like this. But the fact that you got Mackenzie Dern, which is a fan favorite for good reason. Not only does she put on entertaining fights, it's just not bad to look at, But beyond that, I'm just surprised, man. The matchup against Yao Xiaonan, or I believe I'm saying that correct, but I could be off on that. But Yao Xiaonan, if I'm not mistaken, I'm surprised this is the main event that they could come up with, to be honest with you. Like I say, the Mackenzie Dern one kind of makes more sense because of the fan spotlight and stuff. I don't know if it boils down to trying to get some rub from the Chinese market and stuff, because I know that's where she's based out of and stuff. But yeah, I had to fit it in there. But it just I'm surprised, right? Like I feel like there's genuinely so many other fights that they could pull off of a multitude of cards that could have been the main event and more deserving of a 5-round showcase event than what we're seeing coming this weekend from the UFC, end at least.
So you're saying that this card isn't this isn't worthy of Mark Zuckerberg buying out the whole event?
So have they confirmed anything about this or not?
Dana said that's bullshit.
Yeah, that's what I keep hearing. But then I keep hearing that, like, no fans and no media, which no media is like, all right, who the fuck's going to be in attendance? Or what kind of, like, weird side project thing are you guys trying to pull off with this event? But we're now at Thursday night. They would have announced something to build up the hype for it. The fact that the event's, like, not necessarily the biggest card that they have ever done. And here we are, 2 days away. They would have definitely said something to at least try to build up the anticipation. Like when they had first announced that, hey, this is going to be no media, no fans in attendance and stuff, I was honestly thinking that I was going to be able to bust out my old Oculus VR headset here, because there was rumblings that they were going to have a VR event where you could actually feel as though you were, participant at the event through the headset. I was like, that would be an awesome idea. That would definitely bring in some intrigue for a lesser intrigued fight night. And then here we are, like I say, Thursday night, and it's just dry air. Dana's shot down every rumor that there is out there about, everything that it could have been. He's just like, I'm just giving the media a week off, which is the most, ridiculous. The fact that that's the excuse that you came up with, you couldn't have came up with something at least like more, I don't know, it was, a private event or something like that or anything. It would have made more sense.
Maybe even shareholders only or something. Like, come on, dude. Giving the media a week off?
Yeah. So I don't know who's going to be in attendance, and I don't know if I feel like this isn't the type of fight where you're going to see like some big stars and make the trip out or something like that. So I don't know. Like I really genuinely thought that that's the direction that they were going, because I remember hearing the rumblings about that about 6 months ago or something, that Dana had even kind of like, I believe one of the media people had asked him during one of the scrums, and he's like, we've actually looked into it. And it's, if you guys think it's something that would be worth, looking into, we will. And here we are 6 months later. I was thinking that's what we were looking into, but I guess I'm not going to be looking into my VR headset this weekend.
That'd be pretty cool, though, I must say.
Yeah.
The fact that, though, Kyle, I want to make this point. The fact that we got 3 combat sports cards for the weekend, and Corey says is nothing really that great. It can't be that great, dude. You know what I mean? Like
the Bellator one's decent, right? Like the reason why I posed you guys that question is because the Bellator one's decent. You got Aaron Pico.
I agree. I got it. I got it here in front of me. I mean, you got Pitbull versus BoRics. I think Pitbull's going to smash him. But
I feel like BoRics has got something for him, and he's significantly bigger. That's the thing. I was watching the weigh-ins earlier.
I think Pitbull's going to smash him, dude.
Bigger. I wouldn't be surprised, but I feel like BoRics may be able to do something. He didn't work his way into this title shot. I know it's Bellator, so they just kind of do things sometimes, but he didn't work his way here for no reason. He could be another Johnny Eblen.
I'm not saying he's a scrub. Like, don't mistake what I'm saying.
No,
but I mean,
know.
This is
I'm
the
just
same
saying,
thing we've talked about with Bellator before, where it's just like you kind of got like the elite in the upper echelon, and then you kind of got like everybody else. Like even in the co-main, I mean, AJ McKee and Spike Carlisle. I think that's a badass fight. I think it's going to be a fun fight. But I think when you look at it, Bellator so often falls into that vein of like people look at it as like an A side and a B side. Like I like Spike Carlisle, but I think everybody, if you ask everybody who they think's going to win, it's going to be McKee.
Yeah, I mean, I think an interesting way to look at that, to like pose, I guess, a question off of that would be like, what would be the average betting line for a Bellator fight compared to, the other organizations, right? Like I was watching ONE FC earlier. They had a card earlier. They're also having a card tomorrow night. Make sure you guys tune into that, any of you combat fans. This is, yet again, I've said it a million times. I really like what ONE FC does. This is their now second foray on Amazon Prime Video. So basically everybody has it for free. If you don't have Amazon Prime, somebody does. Just ask for their code. Ain't a big deal. But beyond
Corey's
that,
telling you to bootleg it.
No, because they would love to get all the viewership they could. So I'm sure they would.
Or just put your Amazon Prime info out there for everybody.
Yeah, I'll tag everybody in it. But no, beyond that,
Esther wouldn't even let me watch it.
Go check out ONE FC. But beyond that, Bellator, it just surprises the shit out of me, right? Like I had said, not only the betting line thing, because I completely agree with your point, Kyle. I feel like the betting lines in Bellator, your average fights, plus 600 versus, minus 450 or some shit. It's like their odds are never, 200, and, within that pool, it's always way spread out. But beyond that, how are you going to have AJ McKee and Pitbull fight on the same fucking card? AJ McKee said he wants to fight him again. They're 1-1. You had AJ McKee immediately run it back after a dominant victory over Pitbull. Pitbull comes in, gets a boring decision victory where it could have went either way, and you don't make them run that match back, and then you still have them fight on the same card. It's some total Bellator type of shit. You got arguably your potential biggest star against somebody who's your aging past star that is still relevant, and you had the chance to run this back. The way that Grand Prix had ended when AJ McKee had walked out with victorious with the belt, that was a thing that I'm sure they would love to capture again. That was a huge moment for Bellator. And then, like I say, the rematch was not that. I'm sure AJ McKee wouldn't allow the fight to take place the way it did again in the second fight, whether that would be, whether that would mean he would go out on his shield or he'd take Pitbull out. It would just be a more interesting fight the third time around. And the fact that they didn't match these guys up, it just makes no sense to me, honestly.
Like I say, it is. I like the Carlisle one more so than the main event matchup. I don't really. Don't really know why that was where we went with it, but like I said, sometimes that's the thing that we end up finding ourselves talking about when it comes to Bellator, in their cards. But let's make some quick picks on at least the main event and the co-main event. Is everybody here going with Pitbull against BoRics?
Yeah, like I said, I think BoRics has something for him, but I'd be foolish to pick against Pitbull just because of a size thing and stuff like that. I know BoRics is definitely skilled. Like I said, earned his position in this fight for a reason. But yeah, more than likely Pitbull's going to go in there and put hands on him like he usually does.
I kind of agree. J-Bone, you in the same boat?
Yeah, I'm with you guys on this one, man. Ain't no money to be made off this one, that's for sure.
There is if you bet the round on the knockout. Or submission.
Yeah, you ain't lying.
But my luck, it'll go to decision. So yeah. Let's not do that. Let's not do that.
Anybody who's watching in the chat, let us know what you think. You got in the co-main event, which I think is the better of the two fights. You got AJ McKee and a vet in Spike Carlisle. I like that fight, but I think AJ McKee is going to be a little bit too much for Spike Carlisle. But then again, if you're AJ McKee, you better not take him lightly, because if Spike Carlisle goes and beats AJ McKee, well, then AJ McKee is in a definite shit spot, because now you're not going to the UFC, you're in Bellator, and now you're not even going to be by the title.
Yeah.
Not only that, because I feel like you're saying it as if it's like a downgrade, right? But he's like one of the highest, end of Bellator, right? But my big thing, if he was realistically going to lose the Spike Carlisle, it's probably going to be nasty, right? That's the type of fight Spike. I keep wanting to say Spike Carlisle brings in every single one of his fights, man. He honestly, more often than not, ends up getting beat up for a round.
Wiggs wants our betting advice.
Wiggs, man.
But Spike Carlisle usually ends up getting pieced up a little bit for like a round and a half, and then usually ends up showcasing his heart and goes in there and lays some power on these guys, man. So to your point, man, I definitely feel like Spike Carlisle is not somebody. I keep saying it, dude. I don't know why. But I feel like he's somebody to watch out for in this fight. AJ McKee cannot sleep on this, because the big thing to me would not necessarily be the whole, now you're tied to Bellator and stuff like that, because I feel like an organization like PFL would still love to have the likes of an AJ McKee, or even the UFC. Realistically,
well, dude, PFL's shown to be a viable option. Look what we just saw with Shane Burgos, which we just saw Shane Burgos is going to be fighting Marlon Moraes, which in that one you almost gotta kind of wonder, like, why would you put your two UFC guys that you got to fight each other right off the rip? And the matchup, I mean, to be honest, I like Marlon Moraes, man. I've been watching MMA for years, but dude, Shane Burgos has been on a fucking tear, and I feel like,
boy,
man,
if you're gonna move up to 145, Shane Burgos is like, are you really that's the fight that you want to move up to 145, is to take on Shane Burgos? Like, dude looked way bigger than Edson Barbosa in their fight. I know that was a loss for him, don't get me wrong, but he looked significantly bigger than Edson Barbosa in that fight. And who knows, the time away in his retirement might have made Marlon Moraes maybe, he was always incredibly lean, right? So he may have continued to stay fit, but just gained a little bit of, muscle mass or size or whatever the case be. So I'm very curious to see what the reinvigorated Marlon Moraes brings into the PFL. But what makes no sense to me for this matchup is it's a showcase matchup on their championship event, which is already, in my eyes, it's enough to bring in eyeballs to begin with, right? Like, I get trying to put these showcase matchups and stuff on these events so that you will bring in more eyes, but I feel like you're putting Marlon Moraes in there against the Wolves. Why not have Shane Burgos fight one of your other 145 PFL guys that isn't in the playoffs or had a nice season but didn't make it type of season? And same thing with Marlon Moraes. So that way you can have both of them when they make their season debut next year, coming off of a nice victory or, you know, at least a drag out fight, or you can build up the fact that, hey, we had solid guys at PFL the whole time. That's why our guy beat Marlon Moraes or Shane Burgos or, you know, whatever the case be. So it makes no sense to me to match the two up, especially just for the championship event, just to get some eyeballs, you know.
I agree. Wiggs, so you need a parlay. For all of you guys who are watching the stream, please do me a favor and hit that like button, share button, all that stuff. Let people know that you're checking us out and all that good stuff, because it's greatly appreciated. But with that being said, I don't know. Do you want a UFC parlay, Wiggs, or you want a Bellator parlay, Wiggs? And do you want a
UFC one? Give me UFC one. He's more.
All right. Well, we're about to get into our UFC picks, but before we get to parlays and all that good stuff, shout out to our sponsors at G3 Payroll Tax and Accounting. If you get with Jack and the homies and get your taxes together, Jack will have you sitting pretty, so you don't even got to dip too far into those funds to get you some money on these parlays. I will hook you up just like the homies at G3 Payroll and Tax. Make sure you tell them Knockouts at 3 Count sent you. All right. With that being said, UFC Vegas 60. I mean, dude, I'm really like Mackenzie Dern, like watching her fight, but it's not the most overwhelming of cards, to be honest. There's 2 fights on the prelims that I'm looking forward to more than most of the main card.
That's honestly, like I was saying with the Brendan Allen Jotko fight, is like, I'm so surprised. I feel like that's more deserving of a main event slot, or at least a co-main event slot, than like what we're seeing at the upper echelon of this fight card. I know UFC has been doing this thing lately where they've been putting like showcase matchups at very early in the prelims, trying to like, hey, you like this guy, tune in super early so that you'll watch every single fight and we can get ad revenue.
You know, and I understand putting a big fight on the prelims, but I just feel like the overall card isn't overly stacked. I mean, the 2 fights I'm talking about on the prelims, you know, you've got Jessica Penne versus Tabitha Ricci. I feel like that's going to be a banger of a fight.
Good one. Yeah, absolutely.
I really like that fight. I think, you know, Tabitha Ricci is the one on her way up, but at the same time, for her to beat somebody like Jessica Penne, she's going to have to be on her game. So, I mean, I feel like that's going to be a good fight. Who are you guys picking in that fight, Ricci or Penne?
I feel like Penne has done a really good job after coming back from her suspension, right? Like, if I'm not mistaken, she was suspended for 2 years in the later stages of her career and stuff. So to come back and be successful in, I believe this is her 4th fight now, and if I'm not mistaken, with my definitely stoner head over here, not the best memory in the world, but I believe she's 2-1 since her return, and she's looked really good, honestly. So I to your point, Kyle, I really like this matchup, but I feel like Ricci's just kind of, the baby shark's shown some really good skills in the fights in the UFC, man. So I feel like if there's anybody that's going to catch Jessica Penne sleeping, it would probably be old baby shark and Tabitha Ricci.
So you're taking Ricci on this one?
Yeah.
Okay. Who you got, J-Bone?
I'm going the other way, man. I'm taking Penne. I don't know the betting lines on it, so I don't know the underdog.
Yeah, I don't know.
So Penne's the underdog. Penne's the underdog.
Oh.
She's she's a plus 180 to a minus 210 for Ricci.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take that.
Though. Fairly close.
I'll take that.
I kind of feeling the same way, dude. Ricci
for an underdog. If you're building a parlay, though, this fight is definitely close enough where you could go either way. And
Ricci's 7-1. Penne is 14-7.
Yeah, both really solid fighters.
And you got to take a look into Penne's coming off a loss and Ricci's coming off a win. Like I said, I feel like Ricci is kind of the one on her way up in this one. I think I'm going to go with Ricci in this one. As far as who I'm picking, then you've got Latifi versus Alexei Oleinik. This is an interesting fight. And as far as the lines on this one, what do we got? This one's a pick 'em. Oleinik's actually a plus 150 underdog on this one. basically a pick 'em. I like Latifi, man.
So.
I like Latifi, but something tells me that Olenek's just gonna like weather the storm and somehow submit him, bro.
Well, that's what I feel like. So Latifi's best work, especially since he's made his move up to heavyweight, has been relying on his wrestling, taking these big boys down, trying to get on top of them, land some ground and pound, and try to end the fight that way. He's not necessarily the best at holding people in position once he gets them down. He's good at taking people down, but look back at his Derek Lewis fight, and Derek Lewis is just bouncing back up the whole time. I mean, he was getting taken down the whole fight, but he was just getting right back up. And one thing we know about Derek Lewis, he has a way of just getting up on people, but his get-ups are very sloppy. So if that tells me anything, somebody like Olenek, who is just a submission ace and is great with position, doesn't really mind getting taken down too much. I feel like I would lean that direction because he's just able to catch people in such like interesting submissions. Not only like the Von Fluke, OSP Olenek choke at this point, like he's caught 4 or 5 people in that choke.
No, what Olenek's catching is not a Von Fluke.
He's
catching a head and arm choke that's totally different.
No, not. I don't know which one you're talking about because he's caught many of people in them. Many of people. I've watched it back. It wasn't his recent fights, but it was a couple of fights back. For sure.
I'm not saying he hasn't caught one, but he's a lot of what he's catching people in are like head and arms and like anaconda chokes and like.
He literally was submitting people from his back with them trying to hold on to the guillotine for too long.
No, I'm not saying he hasn't caught them. I'm just saying that I know. I'm not saying he didn't catch them.
But all right. Don't call me out on my knowledge here, Kyle. God damn it! But no, I feel like Alexei Olenek's too slick, and if Latifi is going to rely on his ground game in this, it's not going to be great for him. That being said, Olenek's definitely not young and definitely weathered as hell. And if Latifi lands a solid shot, this fight's over. But we'll see.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, I'm going with you.
Who are you taking, J-Bone?
I think it's a position battle, dude. Olenek, get him to the point where he could submit. If there's any chance of submission, he's going for it. But I'm going to take him by submission. But I just want to say this has got to be the oldest fight, right? Ever? I mean, one guy's 40, one guy's 45. That's 85 total years, dude. That's like the oldest fight of all time.
There's that wisdom in that cage.
What the hell's going on in there? There's a lot of years in there, man.
You ain't lying.
Somebody look that up for me. If somebody could drop that in the comments or something. I want to know what the oldest fight age is. Combined fight
There's
age.
been some old ones, especially if you're talking Bellator, man. They had some numbers in their cages, boy.
Yeah.
Cages of
Corey froze.
Corey freeze. Wait a minute. What?
Ah! Corey's dead.
He just
fatality. But Corey's dead. Fatality. But with that being said, J-Bone, so like we said, this main card isn't the most stacked of cards that we've seen. You got the main event is Mackenzie Dern versus Xiaonan Yan, and then you got co-main is Randy Brown versus Francisco Trinaldo. That fight, I feel like, could have fireworks on it.
Yeah. If I had to pick a fight of the night, it'd probably be that co-main. I think that's going to be good.
How do you see that one playing out?
Taking Randy Brown, dude. I'm going to take him by knockout. Let's go. Book it. Put that on the parlay.
This one can end in a knockout either way it goes. Corey's dead.
There he is. Hey.
My damn internet went out. So
if you'd stop hiding in the bathroom, guy, you wouldn't have internet problems.
The internet. I am literally sitting directly. I don't even.
Too close.
My router is literally like I could probably it's almost arm reach. It's 2 arms reach, basically.
We just thought you went to sleep like what we think's going to happen in this co-main event.
Oh, we're moving on to the co-main now.
Yep, and Corey got knocked out again.
Oh no!
Sleep
There he is. Where's he at?
Corey got knocked out again.
I just want to ring the bell on him.
Ding, ding, ding.
Wake him up. Come on, Corey. We're not throwing in the towel yet, man.
We'll give him a 10 count. 1, 2, 3.
Oh god.
4.
Give him a standing 8.
He's unresponsive. 5, 6, 7, 8. He's unresponsive. Corey got knocked out by internet.
I'm calling it.
But
It's over.
Yeah, like he said,
It's
Corey's
over.
been knocked out. With that being said, I don't know, man. I'd like to think that Trinaldo's got a chance to knock him out because Trinaldo is got nasty power. But yeah, I kind of think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be Randy Brown too in this one. I think that he'll be quicker. But that being said, though, if it gets nasty, Trinaldo can catch him and knock him out.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be interesting. But then we got our main event: Mackenzie Dern versus Zhao Nanyan. I don't know as much about Yan, but she is ranked number 6. How do you see this fight going, bro?
That's the danger in pick'ems because I don't have a lot of knowledge of Yan, but I'm still gonna go with
She's
Dern.
coming off of a loss too. I kind of feel like again, even though we're at number 5 and number 6, I feel like again, this is what I was talking about with this card kind of being like an A side.
Yeah. I'm gonna take Dern by decision on this one though. I think she's gonna weather the storm if there is a storm throughout the fight. She's gonna take it home, man.
I'm gonna go Dern by submission.
Ooh, put that one in your parlay. All right,
Wig.
We need to start keeping track of these parlays throughout the show, man.
Corey has just confirmed he has suffered the 10 count from his internet. But with that being said,
one more time.
As far as your parlay, the bell has rang. We gave the 10 bell salute. Corey has not survived this episode of Knockouts and 3 Counts. Apparently, he went to the same drive-thru that I went to. But with that being said, in this main event, as far as the parlay situation, if I were you, Wiggs, I would go Mackenzie Dern by submission. I would do Alexia Oleinik. And I would do Randy Brown in a 3-leg parlay. And if you're really feeling spicy, you could do Oleinik by submission.
There it is. I'm sending that to him. He's going to love that. We'll hear from him regardless about it afterwards. That's for sure.
That voice that you heard there, that voice was pretty nice. But with that being said, if you guys are new here and checked it out, enjoyed like what you saw, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like button, share button, tell a friend. I can't tell you guys how much I appreciate, when we're out and, people are spotting us from the show and telling us how much they watch the show, appreciate what we're doing, and appreciate just messing around because we hope we bring you guys a little bit of an enjoyment in here. Obviously, we only had one show this week. Stay tuned, with 5 Finger Death Punch coming in town next week. We might have some cool stories for you come Thursday. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Again, shout out to our sponsors, G3 Payroll and Tax. Hit their link in the description. And until next time, and in the in-between time, Corey's internet wins. Made you look like a bitch. Tricky! I appreciate you. Peace.
Appreciate it, man. We're out of here. I'm going to ring the bell one more time, though. Oh, never mind.